What's going on, y'all? What's happening? This is Ashley Schuler. We are back. We are back. We are back for the July 24th edition, of the Systems Lab Live. We're in a special series called The Next Gen Digital Project Manager. This is a fantastic series that we are a part of. I'm telling you, this is an exciting time. Those of you that are new to the Systems Lab Live, I welcome you. I welcome you. This is the only weekly live training. Weekly live training for project professionals, those that are in corporate, those that are in the creators economy, those that are in the service provider industry, those are in the business world, management consulting, all the things. Okay. This is where we come and we discuss how to lead teams, manage projects, and develop processes. In this particular series, the Next Gen Digital PM, we're asking the critical question: what does it take to be a next gen digital project manager? And so we're unpeeling, or peeling the layers back, rather, behind this concept of, as a project manager, you know, am I how am I supposed to do things, right? So we're just going behind the scenes, right? We're taking a different take on the title and the function of project manager at its core. Yes, it's someone that does manage the work from start to finish. We don't lose that. We don't lose that. But we're elevating the fact that project managers are leaders, strategists, and executors. Hello, somebody. Say it with me. Type in the chat if you are a project manager, but your title may not be that. You may be a business analyst. You may be a creative director. You may be even an executive director. Hello, Edie's managed projects. Okay. So you may also be a creative who manages client projects and deliverables. You have some form or function of being a project manager. Cool. I love it. So what we're doing is we're diving into these areas of leadership, strategy, and execution every single week. I don't know what I don't know when we're going to stop the series, right? I mean, this might just be the norm. I don't know. But we have an exciting show for you here today. First and foremost, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the Black Tech Effect Report. We're going to go through five more Black Tech entrepreneurs. It's really exciting that we're doing this because I believe that, number one, the inspiration behind people developing products and how we go about doing our work is so important. And when I mean work, I mean programs, projects, and initiatives and things like that. So what I want to really come on and say, what's going on, Winifred? How are you doing? How are you doing today? I saw some cool stuff on Threads that you put up there. I really liked it. So what we're really doing today is we're going to go through the top 5, right, of the Black Tech Effect Report, powered by The Plug, and TP Insights, founded by Sherelle Dorsey and other brilliant people, and the Omni DR Network. Then we're going to talk about conflict resolution, how to fight with grace. Hopefully we'll be able to get into some strategy. I think on the agenda today we're going to talk about how to develop a communication / collaboration plan, and then we'll get to Slack, but we'll see where we land today. I do want to make sure that we cover extensively, as much as we can, the conflict resolution piece, because I just believe that how we communicate, and it's of utmost importance. Utmost importance. So at its core, I always have this little phrase, this little saying that I have, is that people make projects, and projects are dedicated and centered on solving problems, right? Projects solve problems for people, and people are at the center of the process. So let's the first statement is this: people make projects. Sorry, I thought I saw some sort of notification flip up. Hold on, we gonna go back. People, that's so funny. Okay, people make projects. Projects solves problems for people, and people are at the center of the process. So we always lead from a people first perspective on everything. And then what we do is that we partner that with the strategy piece and the execution piece. So that's what we're doing here. I'm very excited to get started, and then we can dive into conflict resolution. We're going to really take our time with this. We may get into a collaboration plan tonight. I hope so. I really hope that we get to do that. Let me see this. Let me see this right here. I did want to go in order of this. Okay, I think no, we're good. We're good. We're going to go and we're going to go and view. I'm going to share my screen. Shout out to StreamYard. And then what I think would be fun for me is to, because I've been using this script a lot lately for something that I'm building out. I'm thinking to myself, should I go in and cut up all of the Black Tech Effect report reviews? Or I could outsource that. I have to think about it. But I would have to go in since February and get them out, get them timestamps. Anyway, something to think about, something I've been thinking about. All right, the Labs is an all-in-one multi-tool for interactive web experiences and brand control metaverses. So let me bring up the summary right quick. Okay, so if we go with the Labs by Farah Allen in 2017 in Atlanta, Georgia, this is audio tech. The Labs is a software as a service platform giving businesses immersive experiences. The multimedia toolbox enables users to boost online engagement and interactive web experiences through audio, video, and other dynamic features. This is already speaking to me. Live shopping, trainings, games, galleries, interactive maps. Creativity is currency, and using the Labs platform provides you with access to technology that helps you curate unique brand experiences. Shout out to the event pros. I've been meeting a lot of people who are diving into the event space and into metaverse and Web3 technologies. My friends, think that's really brilliant. There's something about these immersive web experiences. Look at this. Live stream and video conference. Lots of integrations, video brochures. Activate your audience. So you could have like a hall, a customizable event. Oh, there's Farah and Lucian Wall. Oh, look, it's everybody. This is cool. Senior, come on, Senior PM. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Very exciting. This is really cool. This is really cool. All right, y'all. Now we're going to 12. 12. Look at this. Look at this. Lord, this has to do with some, this is environmental, I bet. Okay. Dr. Atosha Cave, 2015, Berkeley, California. 12 is a chemical technology company addressing climate change. The company focuses on carbon transformation, creating chemicals from air instead of fossil fuel. This process reduces emissions from supply chains, closes the carbon loop, and provides a viable pathway to fossil-free future. Wow. Look at this. We make the world's most critical chemicals, materials, and fuels from air with our revolutionary carbon transformation technology. So this is patented for real, for real. This is pretty deep. I don't even know what to even make of this. 12/voyages equals what is this? E-marine? Did they like make water? Like, what is this? The element of changes on the high seas. Newest fossil fuel made from air and not oil. This is just taking me out, to be quite honest. I wonder how this works. Hmm. This is dope. I like him. I'm going to follow them, and I'm going to do the same thing with our dear friends at the labs. And ooh, let me actually subscribe to their newsletter too. Um okay, cool. Let me Yeah, cuz you got to follow. This just reminds me too. I probably want to do as well. Again, this is this idea of getting all of these entrepreneurs in my Airtable is really sending me right now. I feel like I feel like this is a great project for someone to help me with. Can somebody go through 100 of these and do the website, the socials, and everything in between? Share this tab. Okay, Upsy. Let's see what Upsy is, y'all. Is a co-founder is Clarence Bethea in St. Paul, Minnesota in 2015. Upsy provides an affordable warranty options for electronics, appliances, and fitness equipment using an app for easy access. Upsy rivals traditional warranty brands. The company offers the same coverage as traditional device protection companies at a lower price with more transparency on what is covered in plans and 24/7 claim supported. It plans cover old and new consumer electronics. This is Upsy. So Upsy, smartphone protection plans, confusion free. My dog loves to help me with work. So funny. I need my morning coffee. I love VR, but I'm clumsy in actual reality. So this protects all of your electronics, laptop, grill protection, and consumer camera. Very smart. Very smart. Next up is You Shahidi, empowered people through citizen generated data to develop solutions that strengthen community. This looks like my kind of organization. This is founded by Angela Oduar Langadi from Nairobi, Kenya in 2008. Big data, civic tech, nonprofit. Ushahidi, which which comes from the Swahili word for testimony. It's a global nonprofit using technology to amplify voices in communities around the world. Founded in Kenya, the platform leverages intuitive and accessible crowdsourcing with its mapping tool to monitor and map crowds and political unrest. Ushahidi's tools have helped millions around the world make informed decisions, stop suffering, and respond to real-time data and information. So they have the areas of good governance. They have a case study in that, humanitarian disaster relief, and human rights protection. Climate change. So our goal is to raise 20 million voices. We provide technology and expertise to mission-aligned organization, partners, citizen voices. So the features include, so how it all works. So the platform has holistic data gathering and integrated tools, accessible, easy to use, open source, available in dozens of languages. So you gather information, crowdsource information reports from anyone, anywhere. This is neat. So you have a crowd map, the only mapping marketing tool that enables simply collaboratively tracking of any event using social media, SMS, email, and web. Swiss River, they made this open source toolkit. 10.4 CrisisNet. All right, this is a pretty cool tool. Vericool. Vericool by Darrell Joby, Livermore, California. Founded in 2015. Food tech, sustainability. Vericool uses 100% environmentally friendly products to create the world's first biodegradable and recyclable cooler. So this, for the medical industry, is a win. Cool packaging and high demand for several industries, including pharmaceuticals, meal delivery kits, wine and spirits. Very cool. Creates an opportunity for many companies to engage in sustainable practices that are good for our environment. So coolers, packaging, kits, things like that. Helps fight pollution. It's been featured everywhere, in fact. This is environmentally friendly. People could hang out with a little wine and soda and cooler things. All right. This is pretty cool. Okay, next up, we have, last but not least, The Wealthy Factory, Angel Rich, 2013, EdTech. The Wealth Factory aims to reduce poverty by disseminating financial literacy and education. It's 480 agencies operate in 60 countries and deliver financial literacy in 20 languages. The Wealth Factory low-cost e-learning platform covers a variety of topics related to savings, credit, taxes, investments from a Black history lens. So this is just this is a great online tool where you can get the history of the Black dollar. Okay. Oh, very good. Books. You got courses. You got everything. What's going on, Taylor? Our courses are split into 10-minute learning experiences. So you got lots of different options to enhance all of the financial literacy. Got our whole team, Angel, Courtney, Eric, and Youssef. They play. There may be like some games and things. Okay. Wow. So they've created some games, some apps as well. Solve. Past performance. So they've been doing this for a while. They have a foundation as well. So you make sure, everyone, that you all go to, where are we going to? Let me get my banner up. Make sure y'all go to the blacktecheffectreport.com and download the report. Really fascinating companies out here. And then we'll finish up our last 5, I believe, next week. And we have then completed 100 review of all of these technology companies. And so down the line, I will put that on one of my backlog items to look at how to go through all of my videos since late February and timestamp when I'm talking about these videos here. That would be fun. Right, everybody. So, all right. So the main event of tonight is talking about 3 particular topics. The question that we are asking ourselves throughout this series is, what does it take to be a next gen digital PM? If you go to my YouTube channel and my Instagram, there you will see the latest interview of the Next Gen Digital Project Manager series, which features Mecca Parker, who is a Airtable and operations consultant, and 2 event planners. And so what we're doing with this series is we are interviewing people who are behind the scenes, who are not necessarily called PMs by title, but that is the work that they do. They're doing operations, they're doing events. I'm looking forward to having some of my favorite content creators out here too as well, as we look to intersect, especially in the creators economy and the name of content, how we are applying project management in that space as well, and why that is important in the name of scaling content and organizing. So yeah, go to my YouTube channel. If you go, link is in the bottom of the show notes. If you're on IG, link is in my bio. Feel free to go through and subscribe to the YouTube channel. There you will find live stream since, let's see, I think you'll see them through, well, I started September 2021. Yes. So you'll see, October 2021. That is where you'll see all the live streams there and more. So what does it take to be a next gen digital project manager? This particular individual knows how to fight with grace, knows how to deal with conflict. And so that is our first section that we're going to be discussing is conflict resolution. Conflict resolution. I'm going to bring up my notes for that. And in the meantime, in between time, something also quite exciting that you all should know about. When you text PM Huddle to 626-722-5444, there you will get a great surprise, which I have my audio course. It is a 3 session audio course, half case study, half training, half humor, really a great lesson / conversation, all on project foundations. We're talking about documenting project requirements, creating a project vision, and preventing scope creep. These are critical foundational pieces of being of the project and how you can launch it, or even if you are working on a project, making sure that that is tightened up, making sure you have a solid foundation so that your project is not derailed. There'll be many more of these types of lessons and things, but I wanted to put that out there. Make sure that you subscribe. We'll go and text the number, then you'll get the link and then you'll subscribe. And then on Wednesday, then you'll also get an announcement of all of the monthly trainings, just one monthly training from now, well, August to the end of the year. You will get those dates first, and then before they are released to the public. Monthly trainings. Very exciting times. So let's talk a bit about conflict resolution. So as a project leader, I am sure many of you, if you would like to put a 1 in the chat, how many of you all are dealing with some conflict right now? Let's talk. Let's talk a little bit about that, shall we? How are we right now handling conflict right now? What are some of the areas that you may be struggling in when it comes to the conflict? Is it the confrontation piece? Is it the personalities? What actually has you all in maybe a tough situation? So let's think through that. And here we go. So with that said, I think for myself, we'll start with my own little story time. So for myself, wasn't big on the conflict piece. And I would say that over the years that I've gotten better at conflict. And so what that means is that for me, the conflict for me is, you know, that uncomfortable moment, right? The uncomfortable moment of something's wrong or that I did something wrong, right? Usually it was centered on me. What did I do wrong? And being confronted about it and something happening. I don't know what, usually if you're in the corporate space, afraid to get fired, right? Or you're just, afraid of some sort of outcome. Okay. And so when I was doing the podcast episode, I will show you all where to listen to that one. I wanted to, this is part of the communication season, but I wanted to talk more about the conflict resolution and why that is so important for project work. I think oftentimes, again, when we have a negative connotation with conflict resolution, we think that it's fighting and we think it's yelling and we think that it's disrespect and we think that it's all of these things. Now, there are experiences I know that I've had where, yes, those are the things that do happen. However, when we're looking at ourselves as leaders and we're looking at ourselves as the people who are driving the project work, leading the project work out, you're bound to, per personality and other factors such as, the scope and the requirements, and that's not clearly defined, and maybe the vision's not, and maybe there's scope creep and there's other voices. You're bound to run into conflict. People think differently from you, and that, my friends, is really just the way it is. And so one thing that I want to talk about and why I named it How to Fight with Grace is that it is mainly about respecting another's position, their viewpoint. Okay. Now, you may not agree with how they are, their thought process, but an opinion is an opinion. Okay. And so, why I say to, why I say it's important to fight with grace is because there's always something behind the conflict. Okay, there's always something behind it. So it's about unearthing what exactly is the root of why there's conflict. Now there's a difference between, hey, I want this particular, font to be used versus a particular template, and here I want to do green instead of red. No, we're really talking about conflict centered on an approach, centered on a strategy, centered on direction. Okay, here's a direction, and we're not in sync with that. Okay, so that's what we're centering and putting in context. So it is important that for you to see conflict as a way to uncover what could be missing in the process. Now, this really is something where you have to be very self aware. This is also, you have to be the type of person who is thinking about the project as a whole and really thinking about the mission of the project and the end goal and all the factors in between. So, being able to train your mind to think through, all right, I have a lot of pushback today. I have a lot of pushback. So, let's talk about working through that pushback. Okay. And I think it's also important not to have yes people. Just because, you suggest something or, what have you, you don't have a whole bunch of people just saying yes to everything. That's just not it. I'd love to hear in the chat from you all in terms of conflict. What are the most common types of conflict? Let's see. For me, I think the most common types of conflict, it could be a strategy or an approach to maybe how to handle a situation, maybe how to handle a particular action item. Maybe it is how to handle a client issue. Hmm? That could be a whole thing in itself. So put in the chat, what are the conflicts that you have? And and I just think about this now, especially shout out to those that are in the creators economy. I just said this is not about like color or, you know, or font size. But if you are in the world of content and in the world of, creating those types of things, then perhaps the root of what you are having some conflicts about, it's not just that it's like yellow and green, but there's a fundamental purpose. Maybe that has to be tied to the vision or the intent or the outcome of said content product. So let's make sure, I want to make sure that I highlight that piece too. Okay. As you guys are typing, let me share my screen for a minute, because I definitely want you to pull you to my podcast. This is the last time, y'all, that I recorded, which is the last episode was on the 29th. Is it coming back? Yes. Eventually. I'll start working on that probably late next month, the new direction of the pod. Here we go. How to Fight with Grace, episode 4. And you can get that anywhere. Apple, Spotify, Google. So we'll go back into what this episode is about in a minute. But yeah, this is it. Another thing I wanted to highlight too is that conflict says, I have a stake in this. Conflict says, I have a stake in this. If there is conflict, that means people care. People care. So as a project leader, what happens when team members don't see eye to eye with either the vision or the direction of the project? So you as a project leader, the project pro, there's going to be times where all of a sudden, maybe one of your team members try to go off course. Maybe it's, a particular deliverable at the first review. You're saying to yourself, this ain't what we talked about. This ain't it. Right? And so therefore you have to uncover what that is. So I think it's really important, and this is why in the audio course, I am emphasizing some of the project foundations. And again, not extensive, but in my vantage point, this is why scope and requirements, project visioning, and scope creep, all of that up front, before you get real deep into this thing, this is why you got to really start fleshing out the vision of a project. I believe it's the engine. It is the engine that really keeps a project going. Getting that understanding of scope and requirements and the vision and the goals and all the things. So being able to have a reference document for that, and you can document that. Shout out to the people who are the Notion users. Y'all can have yourself a project charter. I usually go with like ClickUp first, but I just wanted my Notion peeps to say, I got some love. Google Docs, hello, bam, project charter. ClickUp, same thing. Mapping out the project vision, the scope and the requirements, identifying outcomes, referring to that vision and those scope and requirements regularly. Making sure when you have team updates that people can clearly articulate how it's being tied back to the project vision. So there could be a conflict on said deliverable or the manner in which it was produced or some of the outcomes from producing it. And the question that you should be able to ask as a PM, and that the person that is executing on that work should be able to tie it back into the original intent. They should be asking those critical questions. They should be asking the critical questions. I think also when you're not seeing eye to eye, I think we're trying to understand the POV or the person's concern. So let's not just push folks to the side. Okay, let's not do all that. You understand? So we have to make sure we hear people. So for me, a lot of times what I'll do is I will say, if I'm understanding you correctly, A, B, C, D, and E. Or can I get your thought process on why this works? Or even if I maybe think I'm still right, shout out to the people who want to keep it real, because sometimes we just want to be right and we just want to get to the next thing. And sometimes I'm thinking, I'll say, here's what I'm thinking. Can you course correct me? I always do that because I could be missing something. POV, people. POV. No yelling or raising of voices. That's how you lose people. People feel all the disrespect. People feel, I don't come on, voice caricatures. The disrespect. Yeah, the disrespect that people feel when you start getting into all of the yelling. So keep that at a minimum. And nobody got time to be yelling. Nobody got time for that. It's just not it. Whiteboarding your conflict. I think that is a really cool thing to do. Can we just outline in a Miro board? Shout out to Miro, Team Miro in the building. Can we do that? Can we just start to whiteboard the issue? Like really put problem, like core issue, in like viewpoints, and say like, what's the resolution? Can we do that? I feel like we should do it. I feel like it is important for us to do that. I feel like it is really, really important for us to do that. I do. I think it would be pretty cool. All right. So let me pop back over right quick, y'all, over to the How to Fight with Grace piece. Let's go back to this pod episode. Shout out to Donald the Voice, who edited it, the podcast episode, and to Chris, who did my show notes. Okay. Just FYI, y'all. Why y'all? I did this in a little Canva graphic. I was trying to do something a little different. Each season I try to do something different. And so I updated my cover art so it was different than what I had before. And then I got somebody to work on my show notes. I don't know what I'll do this season. So let's talk about, in this episode, I talk about organizational silence and how it's one of the biggest threats to the workplace and how it functions. Organizational silence. This is a really, really good one. Exciting. Really, really exciting. And let me pull up a quick note on that. Hold on. Let me pull up a quick note on that. Okay, hold on. So I think this is like really, really important. And I'm pulling it up now, y'all. But organizational silence, y'all, that was a fire. That whole thing was so good. The whole thing was so good. It was so good. Okay. So let me read this definition, y'all, because y'all got to really see this. Okay. Studies from this is from a Harvard Business Review article. Studies show that most mergers and acquisitions don't fail because of conflict. They fail from the organizational silence that stems from the fear of conflict. This is the same reason that if you're looking for signs that a romantic couple is about to split, not talking is a better leading indicator than fighting a lot. That's a whole thing right there. Wow. While diverse thinking and disagreements can be uncomfortable, they are more likely to lead partners or teams to make progress, innovate, and come up with breakthrough solutions that then consensus and nice conversations in which people hold back what they feel. So what their meaning is that organizational silence basically paralyzes a conversation because there's a fear of conflict. So mergers fail, romantic relationships fail, partnerships, teams dissolve because of the uncomfortable notion that they have to be confronted with conflict. Okay. Diverse conversations and disagreements lead partners and team members to make progress, innovate, and come up with breakthrough solutions. So that's why I'm a fan. That's why I named it How to Fight with Grace. Because are we really fighting? Or are we really not aligning our particular viewpoints? And that's okay. That's okay. Nice conversations. And I think it's even okay to even say, you know what, I disagree, and here's why. Or like I said, help me with your perspective. Help me with that. Huh? Man. So I wanted to share that with you because I thought it was like, oh, so powerful. So in this episode, I talk about how to speak up in a way that promotes innovation and growth without being disrespectful, how to remain humble in conflict to avoid getting triggered and turning the conflict towards the more unproductive, and getting triggered and turning the conflict toward the more unpredictable or unproductive side of things. So that's, I think, where the maturity comes in is, all right, we're in this conflict. We got to figure out how we can move past the disagreements and whatnot and avoid getting triggered so that you can think more clearly and think solution minded and also lead with empathy. We talked about empathy in the first episode of the beginning of the month. We talked about empathy. Specific steps to take that will improve the healthiness of conflicts that do arise. So I talked about that in the episode, and we went over some tonight. Let's see. One of the key quotes I say is, if you're one of those leaders of a project, it's so very important that the vision is clear. I say this often, but I feel there's wasted time when we're not clear on what we're building. So I think that's really important. It goes back to, again, the fundamentals of this audio course, which is project vision, scope and requirements, preventing scope creep, making sure that the vision is upfront, making sure it's realized, making sure that people have buy-in. So, and then I have the resource right here. So, yeah, y'all definitely go in and bookmark that. It was a good episode. If I do say so my own self, right? If I do say so my own self. All right, so we only have a few more minutes. Questions that people have. I'm not going to go past 9, but we may need to just pick up parts of this next week. Come on, collaboration. And so we'll go back to teamwork and tools. But let's tease this out for a minute. Why a collaboration plan is important. Well, let me actually start off with a communications plan. So, in the early PM days, I was told, okay, you need to have a communications plan, like when you're going to have meetings and, what method and like where people can locate the notes. And that's cool, right? Like it helps you to kind of think through like what you need and what medium. But communication is also about people as well. So it's who you're communicating with, how often you're communicating, what's the information. So I love that as teams, a big piece of the conflict is a lack of communication. there's a question of how to collaborate better. And I don't know if it's like or what's the right way to collaborate. And so I don't think it's about collaborating better, but finding a system that works for everyone, right? People, process, technology, right? So who are your people? Who are your stakeholders? Number one, do you know them? What are their personality traits? Okay, what are their personality traits? How do they communicate? So important. Likes, dislikes. What's worked in the past? Knowing your people. The process. So it can be anything from when to contact the CEO and how to do that, to client communication, to team communication on projects. The question of, do we use Slack or ClickUp or both, or how do we integrate the two? You have to think through what makes sense in terms of your workflow. So even with projects, you have to even incorporate two as a team and decide, hey, all project related communication in terms of, you know, talking about strategy or talking about, you know, um, things surrounding the project and the task at hand. It can happen in Slack, but if we're talking about task updates, put them in ClickUp. Have a conversation in the comments. Some of this is also trial and error as well. Documenting your process is going to be crucial. Google Docs will do it. ClickUp Docs will do it. A Miro board will do it as well. Absolutely. Technology, your tech stack. So I just talked about Slack and ClickUp, but the technology piece is more than just, oh, just buy this technology tool, but it's all about how it fits into your process as well. Talk about the accessibility piece too. Does it meet the integration needs? How many users? Onboarding team members onto the tools, training team members too. Lots of things to think about with the communication plan. And then next week, we'll talk about collaboration and we'll talk more about the tools and things. But this is it. Thank you all so much for the Systems Lab Live. I'm excited to be here with you all. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Next week, we'll be back. Teams and Tools Part 2. This is the Next Gen Project Manager series. I'm Ashley Schuler, your host. I invite you all to get the audio course available now. Text this number. We'll see you next week. Have a good week. Bye.